Another week in the books for UConn baseball, finishing up their second weekend against the University of Texas, taking 1 out of 3 against the Longhorns. We're joined with head coach Jim Penders. Coach, what do you take from that series against a top 25 caliber opponent?
Well, I thought we competed well for the majority of the innings. I wasn't crazy about the way we played on Sunday. We didn't get a quality start Sunday, but we gave away momentum. We had some momentum early in the game. Had 4 guys thrown out on the base pass in the first 3 innings, I believe. One of them I take responsibility for, but we made some baffling decisions on the base pass that I don't want to make excuses. I don't think we make them a few weeks from now, but it was still it was an opportunity to get up on Texas, and I think the game could have gone a little bit differently. We had their starter on the ropes and couldn't put them away, allowed them to go to their bullpen. But for the most part, I was pleased with the way we competed, and it's certainly a big-time environment, a lot of good crowd there, heck of a stadium, heck of a facility. Guys didn't seem in awe of anything, and for the most part, with a couple exceptions, a couple rocky bullpen outings, I thought we did a good job.
In terms of a unique situation for you, what was it like to have that Penders family reunion last weekend?
Well, it was nice. I didn't really. It was an odd weekend in that there wasn't a lot of downtime. I mean, I was going from the ballpark and showering, and I got a chance to visit my brother's home, which I've never been to. My mom and dad were down there, so it was good to visit. I had an uncle, a bunch of cousins that I didn't get a ton of time to see off the field, but we got a couple visits after the games, and but it was nice. It was nice. It seems like I've got more family in Texas than I do in New England nowadays, so that's a bit of a change. But it was good to see a lot of those people, and I can understand why they make Austin their home. A lot of them stay in Austin, and beautiful town.
This has become a weekly segment for us, but injury updates for you guys going into this weekend.
Yeah, with Timmy Kate, I don't want to call. I want to resist calling him injured, but he's going to be out for this weekend. He's going to begin throwing again. It sounds like it looks like an impingement, which it can be a nagging thing, but it can also be gone very quickly if treated well. And we got him right in to see the doc on Tuesday. He's on some anti-inflammatory. He should be in good shape to pick up the ball as scheduled on next Tuesday and begin throwing. And it shouldn't be long before he's able to get back up on the mound if all goes well with his throwing on Tuesday, Wednesday. So we're not ruling anything out, but certainly this weekend we're not going to see him, and who knows about UC Davis. Let's get through this weekend first.
So
but it's nothing. We don't think it's anything serious or long term. I think it was good that we got him out when we did. Didn't want it to lead to anything else. And it's early in the season. He's got a long season ahead of him, a long career ahead of him, and I think he was relieved after he met with the docs on Tuesday too.
So with that, how does the rotation set up for you guys this weekend?
Well, we're going to go with a guy who's a veteran. He's a veteran for us and has been in just about every role for us over the years. Sam Nepiarski is going to get the ball on Friday. He had some good outings in the preseason. He may have been, arguably next to Tim and Wills, was probably our most consistent guy in the preseason in the barn, and was kind of caught up in a bit of a numbers game early on. We prepared 6 guys to be starters. He was on that program, and he went head-to-head with Domnarski. Domnarski had a little better fall. The summers were similar, but Doug got the first opportunity. Sam is going to get an opportunity to fill in for Tim on Friday. We didn't want to move Wills from his Saturday date, and we're going to give the ball to Mason Fioli on Sunday.
Can you remember a season like this, Coach, where you've had so many injuries, and not only so many injuries, but so many key players coming in?
I know we've had some rough early goings before. I mean, the Carson Cross year was a tough one because that was kind of, a big blow. We knew we were going to have him for a long time, and that was a tough one. But no, it's been one right after the other. It seems like Tolland has been a bit of a bugaboo when we've gone over there. We seem to endure some injuries. I remember Joe Pavone getting hurt over there, Scotty Oberg getting hurt over there. Then we had Jack Lambrecht this year, who was having a heck of a preseason, and we expect big things from him in the future from him. And then to have Willie on like a day after DeLand, and who else we have out in Tallinn? We had another injury in Tallinn. I can't remember who it was in the bubble there, but we've had a rash of injuries in the early going, but hopefully they're all going to be back. I don't think we have any, knock on wood, I don't think we have any season-ending things. Topa was the other injury in Tallinn, but he's going to take a while to come back with his arm, which kind of limits us with our lineup, if he can't play a position. So hopefully he gets the bat going quickly and can DH for us effectively, and we think he will. But it's been a challenge early on. I guess we should be. I'm never happy unless we win every game, but to be a game over 500 without our best player in Willie Yan, and having gone to Texas and gotten a win down there, I guess we should be feeling pretty good about ourselves, but we're never satisfied.
You just mentioned John Topa. He's back in a new role as the DH. Kind of how do you assess his weekend going up a couple All-American caliber pitchers that he has to start off with?
In who?
In John Topa.
In Topa, yeah. I mean, it was it's a heavy load to carry that first weekend when you got to go in there and see mid-90s stuff, and he's seen that. It's not like he hadn't seen it, but he hadn't seen it over and over again like a lot of our guys did in the preseason. With that injury, he had to sit out a while. So, I'm not all that worried about John. He's a hard worker. I think he's gonna be in there this weekend and hopefully get right quick. He had a good week of practice. Doesn't seem to be bothered by it swinging. If he is, he's hiding it really well. But really can't he can't go overhead, so he can't throw. But hopefully that swing will come along. I thought the big thing with him is he doesn't have to drive gaps for us. If he can just give us quality at bats, that's the big thing with him. He put the ball in play and use his legs, use his speed. That's gonna help our offense. And he didn't do enough of that in the first 2 days last week. So we're trying to win a series. And I talked to him beforehand how we were going in a different direction for Sunday, and I think he certainly wasn't relieved he wanted to play, but he totally understood, the way he just needs a few more at-bats to get it going.
How much of a help has Isaac Feldstein been in the middle of that order? He's off to a hot start for you guys.
Yeah, the ball makes a different sound off of his bat. He really does hit the ball hard when he hits it, and he's been very consistent so far. I hope to see that continue. That was one thing that he battled in the fall, and a little bit in the preseason was his inconsistency. He'd be very streaky, so hopefully he can stay on this hot streak for a long time. But he looks really good at the plate, looks confident. He's been able to make adjustments at bat to at bat, within the at bat, swing to swing, pitch to pitch. So I've been very pleased with his offensive approach so far. He also made a heck of a catch on Saturday. Kind of got lost in the shuffle of that crazy ninth inning, but he made a heck of a catch going to his left to basically save that ball game. So he's done a nice job in the outfield for us too.
Looking at the bullpen, John Russell has looked impressive at times for you guys. Just overall, what are the roles, or do you guys need specific roles moving forward?
Well, I'd love them. I'd love to find some specific roles. I tell them all the time, make it blatantly obvious to me what roles you should be in. And not enough guys have done that yet. And sometimes that doesn't happen for a few weeks. But we want to speed that up, and hopefully we see a little bit more this weekend. Sunday put more questions in my head. I thought Ryan Radu has been solid. CJ Danino was very good down in Port St. Lucie. Took a little bit of a step back this past weekend, but looks really good yesterday through a great outing. Not good, but great outing. He was excellent in the barn, but when the lights go on, we want to see the same thing from him. John Russell, I think Johnny has a swagger and a confidence about him that I like, and I think his stuff is good enough. We've got to get Ronnie Rosamondo right. We need to get him going. He's working really hard at it, and he had a better outing, this week in the barn than he did down in Austin. But he's kind of a work in progress right now. We want to get him back on the bump and doing what he can do. We saw a little bit of a glimpse of that in his first outing at Port St. Lucie, where he was blowing hitters away, And that's the kind of mentality that he has to have when he takes the ball. So saw too many relievers kind of tiptoeing in to the pool last week. They need to, they needed a cannonball in there and let their stuff work.
3 different opponents this weekend as you head down to Stetson. What do you need to see from the guys this weekend, week number 3?
Well, continued growth. We hope that we're going to eliminate some of those base running mistakes. I think for the most part we've played solid defense. We're going to be on natural grass surface, Florida surface, very different than what we played on last weekend. Last weekend was a very slow, extremely slow, artificial surface. This is going to be fast. In Florida the fields are fast, and so it'll be a test for our infielders certainly. I want to see those guys. I'm anxious to see Sam in that role on Friday. We've talked to him about you don't have to go 9 innings, but let's take it pitch by pitch, inning by inning, and he's going to have some help. But I'm very confident that he'll give us a good outing. He's done that in the past for us. He went up to Boston College, beat BC last year, and he's had really good ones. He's had some not so good ones, but I think he's ready to give us a nice performance on Friday to get the weekend off right. And Wills Montgomery has been doing a super job so far. Hope to see him continue on Saturday. And Mason Fuel, he's got electric stuff and electric personality and dynamism about him. So I'm anxious to see him in another start. After he got one down in Port St. Lucie, he's earned another one this coming weekend. So anxious to see those 3 guys go. And need to see some more guys offensively kind of assert themselves this week, and show that Port St. Lucie wasn't a fluke, that they can do that again. And hope to see some of those young guys reemerge this weekend with the bats.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Jonesy.